Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everyone is doing well, and thank you again. This is the second week of the Eritrean Cultural Festival 2021. Last week we had Saeed Abdurrahman Saeed talking about Eritrea past, present, and future. And this week we are going to talk about Eritrean culture. Eritrean identity. About what's our identity, the importance about our identity, inshallah. We have Brother Ali Heggi, mashallah, is a very well-known person in our community, very an expert in a different area, especially in education sector, and he's going to talk about our identity, living in the West. I mean, there's a reason why we chose this topic, and that is because of many people in our community, the Eritrean Muslims, where our parents came as as a refugees to live in Western countries, and it wasn't easy for them to settle, but they really tried hard to make sure that we keep our deen and to keep our culture in that sense. Now looking at the new generation and the younger generations, we feel like some of them are a bit lost. Not sure about what their identity is, and has a mixture of Western identity and the Eritrean identity in that sense. To go to more into depth, inshallah, we got Brother Ali Heggi here today, and he's going to talk about Eritrean Muslims living in the West and what that means in that sense, and how we can keep our identity for our children and the next generation to keep that strong, inshallah. I will at Brother Ali Heggi, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Ali Heggi, how are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Fine, thank you, Noor. How are you?
Alhamdulillah,
Good,
Alhamdulillah. I know it's
good.
a lovely weather today, and but I wanted to wear my Eritrean clothing that I don't
Oh,
wear that
mashallah,
much, to be
mashallah.
honest.
You look cool.
Jazakallah khair, jazakallah khair. I mean, as you know, it's about this topic's about it's about identity as Eritrean Muslims. Many people that I have met and I interact with within the community sometimes don't feel really associate themselves as Eritreans or don't know much about being Eritrean in that sense. And I feel like we're a bit kind of lost in a way, especially us living in the West. Where we have different cultures and mixing with many different other cultures, and us as Eritreans, we're not many of us around, if you know what I mean. That's different factors, but I really hope that first of all, I want to thank you for coming and talk about that important topic, inshallah. And I want to share this platform. I want to give this platform to you, inshallah, and to tell us more about our identity, inshallah.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. First, privileged to be here. Always I get very excited when I'm with Eritrean, my people. It's really important because that's part of me. I'm Eritrean. And what a great topic to talk about. And I think not only the new generation, I think in my generation as well, at time we struggle with identity. And I'll link the identity to Eritrea and how it's important and why we need to understand our history so that we know why we're not as proud as we can be of Eritrea. Some of us might be confused, the new generation, but then even in the older generation. And I will try to get everyone really, from my point of view, to understand why we having that kind of problems. You see, identity it means knowing who you are. So who you are is not only about self-awareness, it's about where you come from as well. So what I'm going to propose today is that as Eritrean, we cannot afford to accept that Eritrean only. We need to go further and be proud of being Eritrean. And that is really, really important. And I will explain my reasoning for that. If we need to come to that idea of I am Eritrean, I'm proud. This is me. This is part of me. Not only about myself, I have my self-awareness. However, being Eritrean as well is part of me. No matter how successful you are, always have that proudness of being Eritrean. My name is Ali. I'm known as Ali, and that's fine. People will associate me with Ali. However, if I said I'm Eritrean British, that's okay. There is not a conflict. In fact, look at America now and any other country, even here with us. I mean, Kamala Harris, she is very proud of her heritage and where she's come from, South Asian and Jamaican, and she does talk about that freely. And I think for us as well, it's really important to have that sense of proud of what we are, that we are Eritrean. So we will go why it is important for us to say that we are Eritrean and proud. And all the parents who are listening to me and all youth, we all need to unite in saying that I haven't got any option except of saying that I am Eritrean and proud. And I will give my reasoning for that. You see, Eritrea, when you see our historical background, which Brother Abdurrahman Said talked about it, so I'm not going to go there a lot. However, there is a history of Eritrea being colonized, the colonization of Eritrea for so long time. And what I'm proposing, I believe that this affected our mentality in a way. For example, I believe that we created second-class citizen mentality. And it's one of the very, very biggest problem for Eritrea. Colonization stayed with Eritrea for a long time. And those that, the people who came to our country always maintain to make us feel less and that we are not good enough. And my concern here that might had an impact on us. And there is not only that, but after that we left Eritrea, and then in any country we are told by our parents, oh, this is not your country, you have to behave, we are foreigners. So within that, I think we start to question or some of us, to question our Eritrean and not come up front and say, I am Eritrean, I'm proud. And we need to be proud. I will talk about, I'll talk about a quote and then I will explain as well. Barack Obama say the worst thing that colonialism did was to cloud our view of our past. So they worked so hard to make us feel like nothing, like we haven't got history. And imagine when that stayed for so long in case of Eritrea. So how damaged that might make, because they don't want us to go to our history. They just tell us that they are much better than us. And that kind of, on those kind of education, they need to give it because they wanted to have control over us. I believe that affected us, and I think we need to really think and reflect on that when we are parenting our children, when we are behaving. Why, that as Eritrean, no, we deserve to be proud, and I will talk about that later. So Eritrea doesn't need us really. We need Eritrea more. Because if I'm not Eritrean, then where I am from? Wherever you all are the youth, I hope you're gonna be better than us in achieving so much. When your self-esteem is strong, you are more likely to achieve a lot in your life. When you've got a doubt about yourself, uh, you're not going to achieve it. You cannot achieve things with being fake. Even whatever you achieve, if you're not coming up front and saying, I am Eritrean, people will question you, will ask you, oh, I am British. Okay. And then originally, where you came from. Then don't wait for that. Say that I am Eritrean British or I am Eritrean Swedish. That sense of belonging to somewhere, that I'm not just, I didn't come from nothing. I know I've got history in myself and I'm going to contribute to this country. And by the way, the two, they're not conflict. There is not a conflict between that. You see, colonizing, to colonize countries, it's bad. But then to colonize people mentality, that is the hardest thing. And I think as Eritrean, we need to acknowledge that, even for the new generation who hasn't been through that. But then the mentality of we all have got fathers and mothers, so the impact of that, don't let it affect us. I'm not saying to accept that we are Eritrean. We can't do that. We have to be proud that we are Eritrean, because it's more about, when you are wearing, a good clothes and who fit you very well and you're so proud of it and you go and then you make any presentation and you haven't got a problem. However, if you've got a doubt in the clothes that you're wearing, is a problematic, because instead of concentrating on what you're delivering, you're concentrating on what you're wearing. Your country, your root, where you come from is like this. You can't afford to say, I am from Germany, while we know that you are Eritrean. You can't afford to say that I am a Somali when you know in yourself that you are Eritrean. You can't afford to say that I'm Saudi when you know in yourself that you are Eritrean. You can't afford to say that I'm Sudanese or I'm Ethiopian when you know that you are Eritrean, because you know what you're doing. You might lie to people. And you might lie to people. People might believe you. But then what about you degrading your own self? Giving an identity which is not yours. And this is where you're damaging your self-esteem to a lot of extent. And that's why to say that I am Eritrean is a necessity. So you see, the culture in what we've gone through in itself, whether it is colonization and then after that being refugees and leaving our country, it affects us in many ways in terms of our identity as Eritrean. And what we're proposing today, that identity is really, really important. It's part of what I am. There is a great novelist and writer. He said, Oscar Wilde, he said, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. You can't afford to be someone else. You can't afford to say that you are from another country when you've got your own country, which is Eritrea. So be proud that you are Eritrea. You see, in all society, there is a positive or negative. Politician doesn't represent me. My land represents me. I am Eritrean. We all have got a duty to make Eritrea what Eritrea deserves. We all can contribute individually in how Eritrea is looked, how Eritrea is developed. But if we are not proud of that, if we don't accept that and we're not proud of that, then that's the problem. And by the way, as I said, Eritrea doesn't need us. We need Eritrea more than Eritrea doesn't need us. Eritrea need us for us that great land who a lot of people die for it to be free after all this time of a lot of country coming over and telling us what to do. For us as Eritrean to build that beautiful country. So where we start is I can, you can become a prime minister of Britain, but when you are there, you should be able to say, I am Eritrean British. See, I love that quote. Until the lion have their own historian. So until the lion have their own historian, the history of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. Always glorify the hunter. That was by a great writer, a novelist, Chinua Achebe, who's Nigerian. It's so great. So we need to start writing our own story, our own history. And as Eritrean, if we've been disadvantaged, there is a future, that beautiful country, to make it great. You can't still contribute while you're here. You see, I'm not asking you to forget about that you are British now. No, the two can go together. Say, I am British Eritrean. I am British Sudanese. I am British. I am Eritrean Sudanese. I am Eritrean Swedish. It's okay, but please don't lose yourself. Don't try to be someone that. Don't try to go to a country that you're not from. Don't say while you know yourself actually that you are Eritrean, to say I'm a Sudanese or I'm Ethiopian. Be proud that you are Eritrean. This is a great quote, another quote which I would like to just make a point while sharing with you some of the quotes. A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Reflect on that with me. A tree without roots, any wind can take her right or left, or it's not going to survive at the end. If we are not contained that we are Eritrean, if we are doubting that, it's not only about self-awareness, it's not about who I am, it's about where I come from as well. Then I will take that. This was, by the way, by Marcus Garvey, one of the great people who, we celebrate here the Black History Month. He's one of the creators of that. And that quote makes sense to me, that we need to have that knowledge. Parents need to teach children about the Eritrean, about the rich, diverse culture that we have within Eritrea. How, after all of that, where all the world seems against us, but we managed to get our freedom from a very big country, Ethiopia. We need to discuss all of this so that our children can feel proud of being Eritrean. You see, this is Dr. David, a leading scholar in Filipino-American psychology. Listen at his quote. He said, colonial mentality can lead to low self-esteem and lower life satisfaction. So low self-esteem. You know why? Because they came and they trying to make you feel less. You're not good enough. Are we still feeling we're not good enough? I think those questions we need to ask ourselves. Why are we underachieving? Why people who got their freedom against a very big country in terms of population as well, that we start to stop believing in our own self, our own ability? As Eritrean, we are underachieving. And why we are underachieving, I believe that this is hesitancy, that not being proud of what we are, we need to. Because self-esteem is really important, it's how we evaluate ourselves. I can't evaluate Ali and leave Eritrea outside and say, oh, I'm from Saudi Arabia. That in itself is problematic. As soon as I'm saying that, I'm degrading myself as well. Because I know that I'm lying. You know, I can lie to anyone. Maybe people believe me, but me, why shouldn't I say I am Eritrean and be proud of it? We need to leave that second-class mentality. That, you know, the colonizer who came to us and tried to embed that in our own thought and mentality and belief. And we need to start to say, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. I'm not comfortable in being number two. I wanted to be number one. You see where we are now as Eritrean? We work so hard. We're so honest. We try our best. But then when it comes to take the leadership, no, we stay behind. We stay behind because we've got that self-doubt. Because that self-esteem, in my opinion, has been destroyed before. And unfortunately, this long time of occupying, of people coming to our country and taking over and telling us that we are better than you, affected us. Now, in my generation, and the generation before me, in our parenting style, we need to be very careful. We need to encourage our children to take risk, calculated risk. We need to give our children and tell them this, they are the best, they can do whatever they wanted to do. We have to embed that to them, that, you know what, try your best and see what you can achieve. We can't afford to admire others and think others are better than us. We can't afford to do that, because now where we are underachieving. We are so much underachieving, and we need to leave that circle of not being what we can be, unlocking our potential. And you know what worries me? That we inheriting those characters to our children. We need to be very, very careful that when our children are confident, we Eritrean, we feel, maybe my child is developing arrogancy. No, it's not. It's not. Arrogancy is to see people less than you. If your child is doing that, or your young person is doing that, that's, you know, if he's saying, I'm better than people and superior to other people, then yes, question them, stop them. However, if they saying to you, know that I can do that, please encourage them. That modesty of my generation, we need to move on from that. We can achieve so much. I'm not saying to be arrogant. I'm saying to have a stronger self-esteem, which has been destroyed through different kind of historical problems that we've gone through. We can achieve so much. As Eritrean, no matter how struggle we are going through, you see us smiling. We are contained in so many ways and we try our best. We are survivors. We work so hard to achieve. But you know what we need to push on? That for us not to be comfortable. You know, if I'm talking about chief executive and a manager, we are very confident. You know, we can become manager. And we work so hard to make the chief executive look good. But then we don't go and fight and take it for us. That is me. I can't be number one. We all need to reflect on that. When you see as a society we are underachieving, there is a lot of question mark around that. So if that is because of the self-esteem, our self-esteem has been destroyed in how we evaluate ourselves, then we need to look and capable of doing anything. We need to really respect human beings. We as human beings, we need to respect ourselves, that we are capable of achieving a lot of things. You see, what is sad for us? Education is very important. And for me, I love education and I'm still learning. But human being character, much better than education. Human being capability, more important than education. But what we do in our parenting, we destroy the person. Like we tell them, you are without education, nothing. No, education is a skill. You are something. You are strong. And any education that you might take is a skill. And it's going to make you to blossom in whatever field that you want to get. But the base is you. The person who make a difference is you. Education is only skill. So when we do that, we start to look our children, what they are good at, and encourage them and get them to blossom and make a huge difference. But then if we are going, oh, education, yes, education by all means, but education is not better than the human being. So how we can encourage education? First, we need to give a respect to our own self. So I respect me. I'm capable of achieving a lot. Then I learn education is skill because to enable me to achieve whatever I wanted to achieve. We need to look at our parenting style. We need to look that, yes, we build the character of a child that or a young person that is capable of, instead of staying in that circle, for us as Eritrean to unlock that potential and go. And I honestly, a lot of people who leave their country behind, they achieve a lot. And there is a lot of examples of that. We as Eritrean, we are underachieving, then we need to question it. And I think we need to have a healthy discussion around that. You see, when you just reflect in how Eritrea, with a small population, when you compare us to Ethiopia, and most of the countries, they didn't want our freedom, but yet we managed to achieve it. I think that will tell you a lot about Eritrea, about Eritrean people. We are strong. But the problem, we are underestimating our own ability. And by doing that, we're not serving ourselves well, and we're not serving Eritrea well. See, being proud as Eritrean is a must because of the history, because of what we've gone through. And it's really, really important at every home. For us, when we talk about Eritrean, we're talking about positivity, some positivity, please. Don't knock us down. Ah, the Eritrean. No, don't say that. All the countries in the world, they've got their strength and they've got their weakness, and we are like them. But when you're saying that to your child, when you are criticizing Eritrean and saying that, then that can have an impact on the child or a young person. And then he said, you ask him, well, I'm British. Originally, I'm Somalian. Well, are you? Yeah, they will lie to someone, but deep inside they know. And imagine that, how it feels. Guys, I don't care if we're going to live here for life, or your children, or you. Wherever you go, you can't be denial of your own roots. You can't. Because if you deny in your own root, that is a big problem. Let's, every one of us who's here, the youth, please be proud that you are Eritrean, because Eritrea is a beautiful country. Eritrean, there is a lot of people who died for us to get that freedom. Don't mix politics with being Eritrean. Eritrean is me. Politicians change from time to time. No matter how bad it might look, it will get better. And actually, in our case, definitely will get better. But wherever you are, I'm not asking, you might say, oh, I might not come back to Eritrea. Well, don't come back to Eritrea, or you come back to Eritrea. That is your own decision. However, wherever country you are, Eritrea, you are Eritrean. You're gonna be asked that question. So what I'm proposing is be honest and say, I am Eritrean. You see, always don't look for perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. No any country in the world. Just to give you an example, Germany, building those cars and so many things, they're very good. But it's the same Germany that had Hitler. American? Yeah, we are American and proud. Yes, they are proud. But that's the same country which have Trump as their president. What I'm saying here, all countries, they've got their strengths and they've got their weakness. But we as individuals, we make the difference. We represent that country. So individual doesn't represent Eritrea. You, all of us collectively present Eritrea. We all ambassadors. Don't look for perfection. No country is perfect. Wow, come on. You do disassociate yourself from Eritrea to say another country. No, please. And that's why I'm proposing for us to be Eritrean. You see, perfection, when we try to be perfect, we try to be like all the countries, But when we are, it'll never achieve, because there is no such a thing as such a thing as being perfect. You can't achieve that. But let us, as Eritrean, celebrate uh, our lovely culture, our lovely diverse culture, our lovely diverse languages, our lovely character. Let's look into that. But at the same time, let us say that we are capable of achieving so much. Wherever you are, from an Eritrean background, be proud of that. And when you are asked, don't hesitate to say that I'm Eritrean. See, perfection, can't be achieved. But then there is something called excellency. Excellency, the great thing about excellency is we see with what we have. Imagine as Eritrean, we've been through so much, hundreds of years of people coming and taking over our country and making us feel that we are nothing. We are, we are nothing. They make rules for us. After all of that, with not a lot of population, we manage to get our freedom. That's excellency of Eritrean. Eritrean who they try their best to make a difference. You find us a lot, and as Eritrean, in trying to make a difference, in contributing to the community, in trying to help each other. This is our excellency. We need to start to see what makes us difference, and then we build from that. The rest is a skill, but a skill with a high self-esteem. Because of our dedication, we can achieve so much. We are Eritrean, which we went to a struggle of 30 years struggle to get our freedom. We are Eritrean, we didn't give up until we got our freedom. We are Eritrean and from a generation where the older brothers, they were sacrificing their to become lawyers, to become doctors so that I can be educated. They had a chance, they could have gone somewhere else. You expect parenting from a dad only. But then because we moved to other countries, a lot of Eritrean, the older brothers or sisters, they help the family so the family can survive and then the younger sibling can go to education. This is a beautiful culture. No self-centered. Always common good. Always common good. Aren't we really have so much for us to be proud of? See, I will leave you with that. All of us, we need to say that I am Eritrean and proud. And we need to give that message to our children that we are Eritrean and proud. When we do that, I promise you, whenever they are, they will achieve. We will see them chief executives. We will see them leading in medicine, in science. We will see them becoming even prime ministers or presidents in different countries. But where you start with your children, make them feel proud of what they are, because that is really, really very important. And the impact of that is a huge. Thank you very much. Noeredin? We've got a chance for questions and answers.
Yes, yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Ali, Jazakallah khair, mashallah. That was very inspiring, and you touched on so many important things that, wallahi, that, mashallah, subhanallah, that how important it is to be proud of who we are and where we are from, in that sense. I mean, from my own experience, being in the community, doing a lot of community work, I do meet with many people, and unfortunately, when I see some of them don't want to associate themselves, and I don't know why, but then if they might be with a group of a different culture, it could be maybe they don't hang about or with a group that are from the same cultural background. They socialize with other people from a different culture. For example, if they're Asians or Somalians, and I feel like when I look at them, they just want to be like them. And I think to myself, last I remember, you're not Somalian or you're not Asian, you're Eritrean. But this whole lifestyle, the way they are and the way they behave and the way they act, it's just like they're not Eritreans at all. It feels like they want to be like Somalian or Pakistani. End of the day, we love our brothers and sisters that are from different cultures, mashallah. But I look at them and I see, look how strong they are attached to their cultures. When I look at the Somalian community, when I look at the Pakistani community, and many other communities, they're so strong. But when I look at my own Eritrean Muslim community sometimes, and I say sometimes, and again, it's my own experience, where I see certain people, they're not really attached to their culture. And I find it very sad, and I think it's maybe lack of education. I'm not sure. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think, and that's why I went to the history of Eritrean and why maybe in some cases we are where we are. And I think it's simple. Being friends with so many cultures, that's really great thing. So I encourage that. However, be you. Be you. You can't afford to be someone else. If you are someone else, you see, do you prefer to be, Van Gogh, yeah, one of his art, yeah? Do you want to be the cop? The original is in millions. Copy, you can get them for £2. So you, as human being, do you want to be original or a copy? Do you want always to have Camilla? I spoke of Camilla Harris. Camilla is denied her culture or where she came from. Do you think she was gonna reach where she is? Because she'll try to hide. She'll try to lie. Don't lie. Be you. And actually, as Eritrean, we've got so much to be proud of. So yeah. So it's education, and for us when we're talking about Eritrea at home, I think it's really important for us to celebrate that, to not keep knocking ourselves down.
Oh, Jazakallah khair. I mean, there's a few questions by our viewers. First of all, thank you everyone for tuning in and watching this important program today, this show about our identity and why it's so important. I have a few comments by our brother Munir, mashallah. He's saying he's beautiful to be a proud Eritrean, mashallah, and that's what we need, to be proud Eritrean, alhamdulillah. I have a question. And there's another sister, Amina, that says, mashallah, this is needed. There's so much hair in our people. We just need to reunite
Absolutely.
ourselves. I also have another sister that came last week. Her name is Holly. She's a historian, teacher in schools, and she finds this very beneficial today. Ali, Jazakallah khair for that. And then I have a question from Brother Munir Malik. And the question is, how do we tackle the issue of people when they are asked, where are you from? They say Eritrean, but originally they're from Yemen or originally they're from Sudan, etc.
Yeah. Well, if they are, then they are. However, I think for me, if they are Eritrean, and this is where I'm putting today, that there is nothing shame about Eritrea. Actually, celebrate that we are Eritrean. So whatever that left to us from the colonizer, don't let it stay with us. Don't let it stay with us. No, we are capable of achieving. And I think one of the great problem of underachievement is that are we really Eritrean and so proud? And that's why I don't even want to talk about acceptance. We need to be proud. And there is a lot of us, or a lot of from our culture to be proud of. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. I got another question, another comment saying, Brother Abdul Qadir, thank you. No matter how it is now, it will change and get better. And
Absolutely.
absolutely, and it is important to reflect on that one, because to change it and get better, we need everyone to be involved. All the Eritrean Muslims within our own community, not to just stay home or keeping themselves with themselves. We all have a role to play into that within our own families and within the community.
Absolutely. You see, as Eritrean, I think we've got so much. We are a very diverse community. We've got so many diversity within us. Um, but we can't together build Eritrea by all of us respecting each other, by all of us accepting each other. We can build a great Eritrea. And let us, colonizer, they come, they try to divide between you. But then that land is ours. So we've got all of us the responsibility in all the culture, all the religions, the responsibility to build Eritrea. And you know what? The great thing, the exciting thing about Eritrea is that most of us went to so different countries. So we're gonna, we've got different knowledge. So therefore, when the platform is okay, when Eritrea is okay, to build Eritrea actually very easy, and it can be, we can become one of the great, countries in the world. Why not? But that's gonna happen if we are proud, if we accept that to Eritrea, and we are proud from where we are, whatever we are. We do. It doesn't conflict, by the way. Me being British and being Eritrean doesn't at all. So all of us to contribute to that country, because we've got so much potential. We've got a beautiful land, so we can build that to become, South Korea. If you go to them in the 80s, they were not like what they are now. Look at them now. With Eritrea, with small population, people went to different country and learn. When they just give their expertise, even if they go to 3 months or things, and I'm sure Eritrean, what I love about Eritrean, I can criticize Eritrean in so many things, but we all Eritrean culture, by the way, we into the community work. We into to that. We've got that mentality. So that mentality can really make, the potential is so high, so high. It's just we need to start to believe in our own self. Thank you.
Another question is about Brother, I think, Onyx. How do we identify with Eritrea when we don't know much about it? Lack of Eritrean influence in the home. My mother was Eritrean, but grew up in Sudan her whole life, and my dad passed away. Allah yarhamu.
Thank you very much. And that's a good question. Now, I think we need to read about Eritrea more. And it's, you see, for example, if, I was saying about me as an individual, I am Ali. Yeah. After someone's going to ask you, what's your name? Ali. Ali who? Muhammad who? Heggi. Okay. After that, you know what they're going to ask you? What's your nationality? Please tell them that you are British. You know what they're going to say after that? Where you come from? And that's why I keep saying Eritrea doesn't need us more than we need Eritrea. Now, no knowledge with your family, take the responsibility and read about Eritrea. But even if you haven't got Eritrea, you are Eritrean whether you like it or not. You are Eritrean. So therefore, what you have to do, read and know about this country. So what I'm proposing here, even if Eritrea didn't achieve anything, is irrelevant to me. We are the individual who can make a difference. Yeah, we talk about Majdi Yaqub, one of the greatest heart surgeon. And you know what we say? He was here. We say Egyptian. Yeah. We talk about Mo Salah in football. Egyptian, we say. Messi, Argentinian. We all collectively have got the responsibility to make Eritrea, to make the next generation proud of Eritrea. So individually, collectively, we as Eritrean, me as an individual, I've got the responsibility. I'm ambassador of Eritrea. So don't try to understand what is, of course, understand your history and Eritrea and root in everything, but don't ask Eritrea to be everything. You as an individual, yeah, we collectively as individual, we make Eritrea what it is.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. Another question was about how do we find the balance between our identity as a Muslim and as an Eritrean?
Okay, Muslim for me is a way of living. This is me. I'm Islam. I pray 5 times a day. Haram, halal. It's clear to me. Yeah, that's me. Islam is me. For me, my belief is that this is a journey that we are in, and then we're gonna, there is a life after. So Islam is the way of living for me, and they don't conflict. By the way, I'm Eritrean Muslim. There is Eritrean from anything. The land is for all of us, and all of us, we have to have an equal opportunity. Yeah, adala, justice. Yeah. Equal opportunities, people who can, people to be treated in their achievement, know what the religion they are or what. If we all become that way, if we have an equal opportunity, if we celebrate our diversity and build our country, then we will have. If we start to say, oh, this is Muslim, this is Christian, this is whatever is from, then we're not gonna have except fight and conflict between us. However, with that, there is very important things. We all need to respect one another and respect the other religion. So you can't be Eritrea. Muslim is you. Yeah. There is in Egypt there is Muslim, there's Christian. There's some Christians. So that doesn't stop them of being. Although majority is Muslims, but it doesn't stop them being Egyptian. And so on in other countries. So no, I think it's Muslim is me. I've got my own belief, which needs to be respected from anyone else. Yeah, and I am Eritrean. Eritrean is my land.
Jazakallah khair. Nah, thank you. And it is an important question as well.
Absolutely.
Islam is our life and the way we are, but doesn't mean we forget about our culture. Our culture is important as well in that sense. Just for the audience today, we're doing this session for the Eritreans, and particularly for Eritrean Muslims in that sense. We have a lot of Eritrean Christians, brothers and sisters as well.
And they're welcome.
And we welcome and we love them. Yeah, they're the same. Mashallah, we grew up with them. We have family with them. Mashallah, we are one together as one community, inshallah.
Absolutely. And that's how we're going to build Eritrea. That's how we're going to build Eritrea. Don't let the colonizer who came and tried to divide us. We are the same. We respect each other, and we're going to build that beautiful country. And we can afford, for us, we all together. Our common goal is Eritrea and how we build Eritrea. And to do that, we have to respect each other, live together in harmony, so that we can make the potential that Eritrea have. Equal opportunity for all. That's what we need.
Inshallah. Another question from the same person. It's the last question. How do we identify with Eritrea when we don't know much about it? Lack of Eritrean influence in the home. I think we touched on that already.
No, and I think there is something. I think we need to, we need to do a lot of training, discussion on those things. I think we shouldn't, as a community, I think there is a lot of responsibility from all of us that to educate even children at 5 about the Eritrean, that you are Eritrean. I think that is being neglected in some, yeah, cases. Then I think that need to be looked at, and it needs to be something, because even if people are planning not to come back to Eritrea, they need to know that they're Eritrean. As I was saying to you, you can become a prime minister here. If you said, I'm Eritrea, I'm British, and then originally, I promise you, if you don't know where you originally from, or you're lying about that, you're not going to achieve anything, because you've got a problem with self-esteem. Thank you.
Yes. Jazakallah khair. I got another question from Sister Sarah. She's asking about, would you please touch on the Djibouti identity?
Okay,
Thanks.
Eritrea is a very diverse country. And you know what? What we need to do is, I see it as a family. Yeah? We might have Djibouti, we might have Tigray, we might have Saho, we have Christian, different cultures. Those cultures, they shouldn't be our difference. Those cultures should be something that we all bring in something to the table. Look at America, how developed. Look at Australia. Look at Canada, because are diverse country. They came from different people, so they come with a new. So the time that we start to celebrate our whether Djibouti, Tigray, whoever it is, and Christian, and whoever, whatever that culture might mean, that actually, if we handle it very well, that it's a good thing for Eritrea. It will build Eritrea. But being from one culture, it doesn't make you superior to another culture. No. Your work is what makes you. Your contribution is what makes you for in term when we're talking about Eritrea, not which place you came. Celebrate that, fine, but then what you giving to Eritrea? But when we come with Eritrea, we all should be united. Celebrate our own kind of wherever we come from. However, Eritrea is for us all, and there is a common good that we all need to work, and we should have those diversity. In Eritrea is so diverse country, we should have this as a strength, not weakness. And it is a strength to me. It's how you handle it. As long as you're saying, I talked about equal opportunity, about me not seeing other person lesser than I, that we are all equal in building that beautiful country.
Jazakallah khair. And yeah, you're right. I mean, growing up with different people from different tribe, and Muslims and non-Muslims, mashallah. One of my good friends from Saho, I'm Djibouti myself. So, and I love it. I love to see different cultures within our own
Absolutely.
community. It's so beautiful, and people dress differently, or they
Yeah.
dance differently, or do a few things differently. But in the end, we're all the same.
By the way, yeah, and in different of knowledge, you bring in different knowledge, and that can only be positive to a country.
Yes. By the way, this for Sister Sarah as well. There's so much information about the different tribes, the history about the different tribes and all that. But it's a different topic and a different story about that, inshallah. Hopefully in the future we can cover the different tribe and the history, and find out more about the different tribe or nation as Djibouti in that sense, inshallah. Then I got Brother Muhammad Ismail. He's putting his hands up saying, Jazakallah khair, he loves the show. Got another one. Brother Munir says, Ustaz Ali, Jazakallah khair, may Allah bless you and thank you. And thank you everyone for putting this informative session together, inshallah. Yes, yeah, and that was the last comment that I could see so far. But yeah, this was so important to do, and the reason why I was saying this, my parents, like many other parents, they came to a whole different country, a different society in the West. It's very liberal in that sense, and it wasn't easy for them to settle, language barrier, culture barriers, etc. So people like myself, I came here on the age of 4 years old, so kind of grew up in this society in that sense. But I'm a bit worried for for the next generation, the younger ones, and people that are getting married and have children, and I'm worried that we're gonna lose our culture, our identity in a way, because we're so mixing with we live in a multicultural society
Yeah.
in that sense.
To summarize it for you, if you give up in your culture, then don't expect your child to be successful. They're always going to have that pain of not belonging to anything. And this is really important. We need to educate. We need to educate. We need to let our children where they come from. It's a symbol. We can't afford not to do that. You can live here for the rest of your life. And the 11th generation, still they're going to ask them where you come from. You don't want your child to struggle on that.
No, definitely not. And I also, it's another another challenge, especially when people that are married outside their culture. So we got people Eritrean married, let's say Somalian or Asians or you name it in that sense. So even they have even a higher challenge because there's two cultures within the households in that sense.
And you see, when the both cultures celebrate their own culture, it become great. It become a diversity, which is, you know what, the child then it become, wow, I'm from two beautiful culture, and the two culture can go. But then if one culture they see themselves as less, then the child will concentrate in one half and he will forget the other half, and that in itself as well, it can be a problematic.
Yes, no, 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 definitely, definitely. I mean, for the viewers out there, as Brother Ali Heggi already mentioned, it is very important that we don't forget who we are and where we are from, and to know our identity. And it starts from home, and it's our responsibility as parents, as elders in the family, or as adults in the family, as parents when it comes to your children. I mean, it is our responsibility that we educate our children at home, our families, but also as within the community itself. It's important that we come together as a community and celebrate and embrace our culture in that sense. So sorry.
And just one, as a young people that they don't know Eritrea, I think you guys, okay, maybe it was a lost opportunity before you didn't get it from your parents, but from what I've spoken about today, about the history of Eritrea and what have you, maybe that's affected them. Being refugee maybe affected them in that sense. So it's your responsibility to find out what is Eritrea, because you can't afford to be not Eritrean. Who are you then? I'm sorry. You're going to give me the step. Oh, you're going to give me Ali Muhammad Abdu Heggi. Okay, yeah, fine. After that, yeah, I'm British. Oh, yes, after British. No, I don't want to say that. I love my Somalian brothers. I love my Britishness, but I don't want to stack and be hesitant to say that I'm Eritrean. Therefore, search for Eritrean, and with Google and everything, it's easier now. So it's your responsibility. But then don't do to your children what your parent did to you.
Jazakallah khair. No, very important, very educational, mashallah. And for the viewers out there, once again, this is a monthly and hopefully an annual, yearly cultural event. It's a Eritrean cultural festival, as we call it. Every week we do an online session, a different topic about Eritrea and about our identity and about our culture in that sense. Every Sunday, 7:30. Next week is the third week, and that we're going to talk about the people that sacrificed their life to liberate Eritrea from the colonizers. This is
Wow.
again very key, important history that we cannot forget. Many of it in our own community that has sacrificed our forefathers, our mothers, that really sacrificed their life to have a country called Eritrea right now, and for us to be proud to call ourselves Eritrean. Proud Eritrean Muslim. So it's very important, and it's also a public holiday in Eritrea, the 20th of June. Hence why we picked the date 20th of June, inshallah. It was on a Sunday, perfect, 7:30. We're gonna have different speakers that are gonna talk to us about, share information about the different people. Some of them are related to them, and some of them that they know within the community, and they're gonna speak about that. So it is very important. Share it with everyone around, so our children and our next generation know about the different people that sacrifice for Eritrea, to liberate Eritrea, inshallah. And then the final week, I'm just gonna share the post, inshallah. The final week, as you can see over here. Give me 1 second. You can see here, the 26th of June, we are planning to do a family cultural festival. What that means is that families and youth and children all come together in a park, dressed in the traditional clothing, bring their traditional food. We will have like a bun coffee area with mothers serving lovely Eritrean coffee with the different Eritrean snacks. We're gonna hopefully get a bouncy castle for the children, a face painting and henna for the children to enjoy, and being with their brothers and sisters, and embrace their culture in that sense. Due to the government restrictions, probably it's going to be extended, so we're not, most likely we will not have some performance from different artists in that sense, but we're trying to make it like a community event, and it's going to be people from different tribes attending as well, inshallah. So please make the effort to come. It's free. Of course, we need some donations, so if you can donate wherever you can, it's much appreciated, to pay for the venue. There's a venue next to the park that we're gonna hire as well, where we can set up the place and use the facility if we need to use the facility in that sense. But in the end, the aim is for us to come together, to celebrate our culture, and to be together as Eritrean Muslims and non-Muslims, and other cultures can come as well. Bring your friends and family, let them learn about who we are as Eritreans, where we are from, so we can share the love and the culture to others, inshallah. If you have any questions about it, if you can see on the screen, you can call 079 31480251, or you can email us directly on emfeventsuk@gmail.com. In the end, this is an event organized by the Eritrean Muslim community, for the community, by the community, inshallah. And hopefully, if we are stay strong together and work together and unite together, we can achieve so much, and we can make sure that our culture, our identity itself stays strong for our children and the next generation, inshallah. Brother Ali, what's the last message you want to leave behind? First of all, I want to say thank you on behalf of everybody that you have come and making the time to tell us about the importance about our identity. But if there's one message that you want to leave behind, inshallah, go ahead, inshallah.
I am Eritrean. I'm proud.
Mashallah, I'm Eritrean. I'm proud as well, mashallah. And yeah, I mean, yeah, and then yeah. To summarize everything that you talked about today as well, to summarize a bit, what would it be?
It's simple. Eritrea, as I said, we need Eritrea more than it needs us. We need to be aware of the colonization which happened, and what whoever is colonizing your country, what they do to you, which is really trying to destroy your self-esteem. My concern, I hope that didn't get us to that second-class citizen mentality. There is a lot that we can do as Eritrean. We haven't unlocked our potential as yet as a society. All Eritrean from the diverse background, we are underachieving. We can do better. So we can only do better if we accept we as ourselves, and we evaluate ourselves in a better way, and we don't think with the mentality that left from the colonization, that we are less than other. We are equal. We can achieve. When we do that, we will reach our potential. And you know what? No matter what happened, the start for us is we need to say we are Eritrean and proud. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you, Ali. Much appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a lovely evening, inshallah.
And you
And
too. Thank
hopefully
you
we
very much
see
for
you.
everyone who attended as well.
Yeah. Jazakallah khair.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ali.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'assalam.
Bye.
Ma'assalam.
Bye. Massalam.
MashaAllah. This Brother Ali Heggi, MashaAllah, is very active brother in the community. Is doing so much work for the community for the sake of Allah. May Allah reward him and many others that are doing great work for our community, inshallah. For the viewers out there, thank you so much for coming. As you know, it's so important to keep our culture and known about our country, Eritrea, so we can keep our identity, inshallah, especially for our children and the next generation, inshallah. So keep working hard towards that, inshallah. I know it's not just a one day, it's just every day something that we need to do, inshallah, at home and as a community, inshallah. So there's more to come in the future, inshallah, if Allah wills. If you want to get involved, you want to have an input, please contact 07931480251 or send an email to emfeventsuk@gmail.com. And inshallah, as a community, we can work together and make it happen, inshallah. And don't forget, next week, 20th of June, about the sacrifice people made to liberate Eritrea. And the 26th of June, the community event, inshallah. Hopefully, if the weather is nice, then inshallah, we're going to make the event is going to going ahead, because the weather has to be nice because it's in the park due to the government restrictions. If government restrictions has been lifted, there's a hall next door as well that we're going to be using as well, inshallah. But all depends. But most likely the government is going to extend the restrictions that are in place. So it's going to be in the park, inshallah. But we have access to the facility next door to hold the community event, inshallah. So come in your traditional clothing. As you can see what I'm wearing at the moment, please show so that we can show the children and the young ones and others in the community how beautiful it is to be in Eritrean, and how proud we are that we are Eritreans, inshallah. And bring anyone that's non-Eritrean and neighbors and other family and friends, bring them along. It's a real community event. It's in a safe place, and there's all the safety measures are in place as well. There's going to be some pictures opportunity for you to take with your families as well on that day, and for the children to meet other children as well. There are going to be people from different tribal communities. Inshallah, we invited people from Afar, Bilal, Saho, Djibouti, and many others to come, because we are one together, inshallah. And hopefully we'll have a great event that day, inshallah. And thank you for everyone for coming today. For me, Jazakallah khair, and see you next time. Ma'a salama.